shaking my head in my negative nasty feel after that Buffalo game where they jumped. All I can tell you is Dolphins number one, baby!
Things up, baby.
Dolphins
Things
number
up.
one!
I swear, if a certain quarterback is mentioned in the comments, got my beers ready, I'm going to crack it open.
Or is it a Serbian kid?
Serbian kid,
This looks done. Oh my god, it looks fantastic.
I hate you so much.
No, good beat, man. Not a beat, man. Woo! I'm the man. I said it, and it's reality. All right, congratulations.
What's going on? Look who's back hosting. No holds barred. Took a little time off. Probably gonna take off some more time. Wow, it's dark in here. Sorry, there's lighting issues now. See? So what happens when I take off for a week? Shit gets on, everything gets messed up. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the number one wrestling podcast right here on the Fin Talk Sports Network and in the world, in case you're wondering. This is No Holds Barred. I, of course, am your gracious host. I put myself a new nickname tonight, Alex Downtown Brown. That actually was my nickname in high school. So
why did they call you Downtown Brown?
because I was draining those threes all day, baby. Draining those threes
Lord.
all day.
Oh Lord.
All day. And of course, I've got my compadre, my guy who hosted last week, did a killer job last week. Alfred will probably have to do it again next week, just letting you know. Hint, hint. Because I got rodeo. Again. Alfred Hollywood Matthews. And then, Alfred, we were joined by a first-timer tonight. Mr. Bret, please.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. Introduce yourself to the No Holds Barred family.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I've been with Bobby with Fin Talk since we started, and now do a couple different shows. I'm on a little bit of everything. Starting to get back into the draft thing because Bobby keeps pushing me into it.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be on one of those draft shows to talk Texans. So I'm gonna be like, "Hey, my team sucks."
I mean, I'm a Dolphins fan, so I mean, what can I say?
At least y'all made the playoffs.
So he's got me doing a little bit of everything. I do Huddle Up and Wait, which is me and Dave Stager with two veterans. We love to talk all NFL. We talk a little bit of everything, stir the pots a little bit, drink a little beer. It's fun, good times. But we're both wrestling fans too. I started getting back into wrestling here recently. My wife bought me my PS5 for Christmas.
Yeah.
One of the first games I picked up was 2K. WWE 2K22.
We're gonna be talking about that later.
Yeah, man. And I mean, I go way back with wrestling games. I mean, like way back.
And look at that.
So,
wow.
Raise Ramon was
we gonna get into that
WWF.
discussion later on.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Like it's got me back into it. And I was like, let me start watching it again. I started watching at Royal Rumble. Then started watching Elimination Chamber. Well, man, I'm starting to enjoy this again. So I'm back into it.
All right. So, Bret, have you watched us before? Have you watched our show?
I've watched a little bit of it.
Okay.
Bobby would say.
So there's a couple things we got to ask you first. God damn, this lighting fucking sucks.
Ring lights, man.
I know, right?
Cheap at Walmart.
I gotta get a freaking like lamp right here or something. I don't know. So we gotta know who's your favorite wrestler
Of all time?
Either right now, current. Actually, you know what? No, screw it. Current, right now, and of all time.
Current. It's really hard just getting back into things, but like, obviously with the heritage, I love Cody Rhodes. Like with what's happening with him, but current's hard, man. That's really hard for me to pick. But all time, I have a couple of them because I was as a kid, I was really into WCW.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Sting was my guy in WCW.
All right.
I loved Hulk Hogan as like a little kid growing up, but like Sting was my guy. And then with WWE, man, like I was just a big Stone Cold guy, which I mean, he wasn't. And then I was big with The Rock, but like Rey Mysterio was actually one of my favorites too. for a while, with the cruiserweights. But like, I was more of a Sting guy. If I had to pick an all-time favorite, it'd probably be between Stone Cold and Sting.
Amen. Alfred, what do you think about that? He's got Stone Cold and Steve.
Sting. He said Stone Cold, so I like him already. All time Stone Cold. Steve's not a bad choice as well, and everything. But yeah, since he said Stone Cold, yeah, I like him already.
Amen.
My favorite wrestler. So,
well, you got it. It's the heart of Texas.
Yeah.
Okay, Alfred and I are both Texans. All right. Look, and I'm sporting. So, Bret, my thing is I wear hats, and then the guys give me shit for the hats that I wear. Especially
the one he has currently, but
okay, this is Roughnecks.
Most of his hat choices are not good.
No. They give me
logo bought off a Wish.
It's Roughnecks. It's their only good football team in Houston. It's our only. Look, bring back the hat. They want the hat. The fans want the hat. You know what? The fans are gonna get the hat right now.
Oh man! Oh boy!
Right now, the fans are getting the hat because I don't care. Even though Ryan's not. Boom! That's the hat. Okay. The hat has returned. Oh, hail mighty hat!
It's not going away.
No. Excuse me, my bald spot is right there.
Straw hat.
And it's funny because there's another guy, a guy that you did a show with, Mike Brown. He has a show on here as well. He actually signed this hat. This is his hat that he gave to me, and he signed it. So, awesome. Memorabilia. But this is whenever we talk about Bray Wyatt, the hat comes on. And then the guys are like, oh, that's the dumbest hat in the world. But the fans love it. The fans absolutely love it. So I do what the fans want, not what these two jamooks want. You see, we have a good time here.
Well, you fit already. Like, I already see that you fit in with the whole sports entertainment thing.
I do.
It's what the fans want. It's what they want.
And you want to know something crazy, Bret? This is like our first podcast ever that we've ever done.
Really?
It's just naturally, this is my character. This is me.
It's fun. Just be yourself.
Exactly.
Just who you are. Just let it out. Just be yourself. Just have fun.
Exactly.
Talk about topics you love. That's why I love this. Plus,
that's why I like when you guys come on, you start talking about Dolphins, and I go, hey, guys, I'm a Texans fan. You guys go, oh, who let him in?
Well, look, it's we like to expand it because it gets depressing talking Dolphins. Let me tell you, man. As I'm 35, I'll be 36 this summer, so I've been heartbroken for years with the Dolphins. So I'm good to talk on the topic sometimes.
I mean, before you mention that, Mike Brown, we went to college together and everything.
Yep.
So
go
all
Google
through our college years and everything. I always give Mike Brown crap about the Dolphins and the all-time record against the Texans. It's a running joke me and Mike always have, just joking with you.
I still remember 2002 when I was in high school. I was like, oh, yeah, Dolphins going to win this game. And we lose by a field goal. I'm like, what the hell just happened here? That Chris Brown field goal still stings to this day. Then,
well.
I'm trying to do that fake halfback pass at Ronnie Brown with Nick Saban. We lost to the Texans. Like, are we ever going to beat the Texans?
Well, you did this year, so congratulations.
Right. We have
you beat our A team, which is y'all's probably F team.
Probably.
So anyway, let's talk a little wrestling. I don't know if you know about the whole storyline between could be a Texans fan. They can't even lose right. That's true. We can't even lose right. Amen. Logan Paul and Seth Rollins. I don't know if you're up to date with the storyline, Bret.
A little bit.
So you watched Elimination Chamber, as you said, and you saw Logan Paul came in. They've been kind of setting this up for weeks now, and Seth Rollins, we have a number one fan named Ryan Taylor. That's his favorite guy because he goes, he's the number one punchable face that he can ever have in wrestling. So Ryan Taylor absolutely hates him, which means that Seth is doing his job.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, MJF probably has the most punchable face.
MJF is my Jewish brother from another mother. I love MJF.
I love heels, because it's a lot of work to be a heel, but man,
yeah, it is. But anyway, so Logan Paul comes out and interferes, and then this past Monday night on Raw, they have a face-to-face. The Miz gets involved, and Logan Paul just decks Seth Rollins in the face. So those two are heading towards WrestleMania, and I'll start with Alfred first. Is Logan Paul, Seth Rollins, is this the right match to have for both of them at WrestleMania?
Oh yeah, it is mostly definitely the right match at this point. I know we saw probably rumors before all this happened that Logan Paul was going to face Cena, but I'm pretty sure I like this Logan Paul and Seth Rollins match at WrestleMania. Like I said, it culminated at the Royal Rumble when they had a little confrontation in the match and everything, and then right now WWE doesn't have anything for Seth at the moment, so. Right. It makes perfect sense, and the fact that Logan's brother Jake want to stick his nose in the match as well, talking about he'll knock out Seth Rollins, makes it even more.
Even though he just lost, Jake Paul, you suck.
Lead me to believe he probably shows up and everything, and believe it or not, Logan Paul has actually been putting up pretty damn good matches ever in WWE. Mm-hmm. So I expect them to have another good match with Seth Rollins for that very reason as well. So. I actually like the match that's going to between the two at WrestleMania.
And Bret, so their storyline right now is coming to fruition. Logan Paul as a wrestler is coming. He's coming alive, like Alfred said. Do you like the fact that some of these guys that are not everyday wrestlers are training and can actually fight in the ring, like Logan Paul? I don't know. You've had some other celebrities, because I don't consider Logan Paul a celebrity. He's just a jackass. But these guys coming up, do you consider? Is it cool to see this when they come back to wrestling?
Yeah. So the thing I keep telling people about Logan Paul, he's a natural athlete. You saw the way he just hops over the ropes. He's young. He's athlete. He's charismatic. He's not afraid to be in front of people. He doesn't shy on the stage, right? And then you have Seth Rollins, who's been in the business a long time. So it's like a good matchup, a young upcoming guy who's already got the popularity and fame, and who's still an athlete, in my opinion, because he was legit training to fight. Now, I know, I feel like their boxing matches were rigged and all that stuff. Look, they pretty much brought, the sports entertainment to boxing and made a lot of money on it, and the people that sign up for the matches make a lot of money on those. So it's all, and he's already a heel, in real life, like you just say, he's a jackass. So he's already got that heel factor. So he's a perfect fit for this. And that jump, that collision with Ricochet.
Oh my God!
At the Royal Rumble, that holy hell! Ricochet is smaller than him, and as far as he was able to jump, I actually seeing it. Logan Paul's a good fit.
And Alfred was there. Alfred was in San Antonio.
Yeah. I was saying that spot was amazing seeing it in person.
Dude, my jaw dropped because I'm like, that's young Rey Mysterio stuff, back in the day. You used to see that.
It's like some moves you have to kind of. It doesn't do any justice watching it on TV. You have to actually see it in person to see how it actually is, and that was one of those moves. That spot was amazing right there.
That was insane, and I feel like he already is comfortable and fits, and I feel like I think Cena would have been too big of a stage for Logan Paul, because if it fails, it's it's over for him. You know what I mean? If the people just don't buy it, but I think Seth Rollins is enough to buy it, and then you see him interrupting at the Elimination Chamber, being that heel, being that guy that people love to hate in a sense. I like it. I think he's a good fit, and so far from what I've seen, it's working out really well for him.
Yeah. No, so I mean the rumor was it was going to be Logan Paul versus John Cena at Mania, and I don't think that got a lot of traction with the company, because everyone's like, oh wait, if Logan Paul, John Cena, who cares? Honestly, if you're watching it, you have two guys that are, because John Cena, people either love him or you hate him, and I mean, John Cena is probably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's gonna fight Austin Theory at Mania. That's now official for the U.S. title. That's another. My guess is probably Theory's gonna win. I don't know about Alfred. I don't know what you think. I think Theory will probably beat Cena, because I can't see them giving Cena the U.S. title at Mania. I could be wrong. Okay, most of the time I am wrong.
When we have our prediction, I'll save that when we have our prediction.
For me, our Mania shows are going to be crazy. We're going to have to do two shows a week. We're literally going to have to be 2 shows a week on that one.
I don't know if he loses, but the only way I think he loses is if there's interference.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like a ref knocked out and sneak attack, something like that. But I don't know. It's hard to imagine someone like that, Austin Theory, beating John Cena, in my opinion. But again, I haven't really been following that as close. So, but you make a good point. You can't see them really giving John Cena the U.S. title. It's kind of a weird, like, he wouldn't hold it long if he did win it.
No,
it wouldn't feel
because he's an actor now. He's not a wrestler. He's an actor now.
Yeah.
And like going back to Logan Paul and Seth Rollins is like I would be wondering who would win that match, and because Seth Rollins is the type, we keep saying it, Seth Rollins over and over. He's the type of wrestler that gets guys from here and just bumps them up just because of who he is as a character. And he tried to do the whole heel persona. It didn't work out. Seth Rollins with this whole like the music and all that. I mean, he's like people love him.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Bret. Do you like just a quick prediction? What direction do you think WWE would be leaning for Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins?
I think the young guy. If they honestly feel that Logan Paul has a bright future and could help them, move with the ratings and continued success and have more success, I think you have to have Logan Paul win the match. But I think you have to have it as a good match. Yeah. And Logan Paul legit win, not like a sneak win, not a cheap win, like a legit win, but as a heel where people like they want to hate him, but now they can't be mad because he legit beat him. But it's like I want him to lose, but he keeps winning. But he didn't almost like Triple H would do. I know sometimes Triple H used to have he was, to me, by the way, Triple H is my favorite heel of all time. He's honestly
your favorite heel, not wow. Okay.
Right. Yeah, like I feel like even though like I grew up with the WCW guys, I feel like Triple H took it to the next level and did it for so long. But like it kind of like something like that, like where remember he used to bring out a sledgehammer and like cheat his way into a win. I don't think it would work with Logan right now to do that. Later on, but right now just have him like win legit and have a good match. I think him winning would be good for the business, in my opinion. As much as people love Rollins.
Bret, do you watch WWE more or AEW more, or do you kind of split between the two?
I haven't watched AEW yet.
Okay.
So I haven't really got much into it yet because I don't have cable anymore and I don't really get to sit down and watch a lot of TV. The whole married with a kid thing.
Adult life, great.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go back when I was a kid watching it in my
room. Alfred, what do you think the direction that WWE would go with between Logan and Seth?
I think, like I said, Seth. I don't see like a direction because it's Seth freaking Rollins, right? So I don't see like how this match would like elevate him to be where he is, like higher to where he is currently. Because, like I said, it's Seth freaking Rollins. I think if anything, like Bret said, it'll elevate Logan Paul more if he were to win the match, to make him like have a bigger push in the company, even though he's not like a full quote unquote full-time wrestler. He still does things part-time, but it still gives him like a push. And beating Seth is, if you beat Seth Rollins, it's like you beating a credible opponent. So I think the ceiling is higher if Logan Paul wins this match. I'm hoping he wins the match anyway, but I'll just when we do our predictions, I'll say why and everything.
I think that match is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, I think if they need to have that on shoot dang near night one of so we can watch it.
And that'd be one hell of a way to start out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would bring the energy of holy shit.
Right, that'll be a heck of a way to start.
Unbelievable.
The match. But like I said, I don't think it benefits Rollins winning the match. But Logan, like I said, Logan Paul, it helps him more than
Ryan Taylor has a good point. Logan Paul beating Seth makes him a WWE superstar instead of that guy that shows up every now and then. That's true.
Oh yeah.
But I think he needs to fight on Raw, not just pay-per-views. He needs to fight on the shows.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Just like how like some of the other people like Ronda Rousey when she's like active and everything, even though I know you don't like Ronda, but like she actually wrestles on the shows and things like that. I think like I agree 100%. Logan Paul needs to like not just pay-per-view matches, he needs to wrestle on the show and everything to get like more experience.
Bret, what were you gonna say?
No, basically agreeing with him. Like, if Logan Paul's goal is to be like a full-time like star, like then this is a perfect opportunity. I 100% agree with you. I was like, start wrestling on WWE or Raw or SmackDown. You know, start getting a little bit more notoriety. I know it seems like he kind of springboarded already. But you know, like Kurt Angle kind of did the same thing back in the day too. Like he kind of just jumped right into the big stage. But look at his background too. So so I don't really mind guys springboarding that have like some type of athletic background. But if the guys like working with them and stuff and they feel like, hey, you know, he's got a bright future and that's what he wants to do, this is the point where I think it could really jump into something bigger. And if not, then that's where it's like, well, then we don't really want Seth Rollins to lose to him, because why would you lose to him when he's a part-timer, you know what I mean? So it's does that like hurt Seth Rollins' legacy? Like, shit, now I'm losing to Logan Paul, like a guy who's not even here the full time, only this pay-per-view. So I don't know. It feels like they're slowly working Logan Paul into with just doing the pay-per-views. And he does put butts in seats. I mean, he sells tickets. He gets people to buy pay-per-views, which is a big name. I think they would want him doing that. Because you think about if he's on Monday Night Raw, they're gonna love that, or SmackDown. Yeah. People are gonna watch Logan Paul, especially the younger generation. And I think Logan Paul can help get a younger generation of fans watching, and that could be really big for them. Which me personally, long-term wise, as a kid that loved this stuff, I'd love to see that, where the resurgence for my daughter's watching it. You know what I mean?
Hey. Yeah, no, I agree. Because then, look, you go from YouTube star, Vine star, whatever he did, to now wrestling star. Where, like, you know, The Miz, he was on TV before he went into wrestling. And then he became a big star and all that. So, I mean, I can definitely see that path for Logan Paul. I'm taking his hat off right now. Put my Roughnecks hat on. You know, I could see a big future for Logan Paul, and then possibly them deciding to put a title on him. You know, maybe United States or Intercontinental title on him. Not one of the big ones.
I think that might be a possibility, but I think it'll be longer than people think. Just because I think I say he needs to get like a little bit more experience in the ring and everything. He's doing a great job. Don't get me wrong, but I think he needs to like be more active for it. Because if he wins a title like anytime soon, it's like, oh, why the hell is he winning a title and he's not even a full-time wrestler?
The Miz is what you get when you order MJF off Wish.
Ryan, he's my Ryan, he's my co-worker at the company I work for. So he was telling me earlier, he was like he got his books of jokes already in the comments already. I can tell.
I love it, man. And Evan trolls us in the comments too. It makes it really fun.
Oh god,
I like that, man. Ryan, keep that up. That's awesome.
He's our number one fan, and he went out and kind of got himself a little Bray Wyatt hat as well. So I wasn't alone the one time he came on our show. All right, let's talk a little bit about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and that mayhem that happened on Raw. So, Brad, I don't know if you know about the Sami Zayn storyline with They See Me Trolling. That's Alfred's hashtag is Alfred trolls on everyone on Twitter.
Oh yeah, he does.
That's the reason why he did the hashtag, because I do that when at work in the IMs at work and everything. So he does. They see me trolling every time I do.
Oh god. So this past Monday, Sami Zayn helped out Kevin Owens when he was about to get the shit kicked out of him by the Usos or the Bloodline, and then he walks away. They're building this story up to where, like, eventually what's going to happen, we all know it, is that either Kevin is going to save Sami or Sami's going to save Kevin, and then they're going to do like that big hug where the crowd erupts, and then you're going to have the official Jey Uso now turned on Sami.
Yep.
So we kind of saw that was going to happen. Like, as soon as, they did the hug at the end and you see Jey leaning back and turn sideways, you knew he was getting ready to kick him in the face. So now you're going to probably have Sami and Kevin, Jey, Jimmy, tag team championships. But Alfred, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the ending to Monday Night Raw?
Oh yeah, that's probably one of my favorite endings ever. Not ever, but like in Monday Night Raw, like I knew it was, like I said, I knew it was coming because it was obvious, like you said, Alex, that Jay backed up and everything, and then he super kicked him. But even like I said, the execution of it and just the execution of how they finished, how it finished, the show finished, it was like amazing. It's probably one of the best ones. So obviously that's not a Vince McMahon call, that's a Triple H thing. So like I said, I'm high on Triple H as creative and all that things like that. But the execution was real legit. And like I said, it was my favorite ending to Raw ever. So it got my jaw. It had my jaw like kind of drop when I saw it. I was like, holy crap! Like that was real. So, like and I said, Bret, obviously it's going to lead to Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins.
Same titles. Same. Yeah. Bret, just real quick, I want to get do you know about the whole Vince McMahon leaving, coming back, like that? Yeah. That bullshit that happened.
And now there's like another acting CEO now.
Right. So
all the politics stuff.
All the politics. So just your general view of Vince, Triple H in the office aspect of WWE.
Oh, just a Triple H, how he's doing? Or yeah.
Well, you can talk about, because we did a full show. Ryan and I did a full show when Vince came back, and literally we put a tombstone as our picture. Like WWE is now dead, but why? What do you think is, I guess, Triple H running the business compared to Vince McMahon running the business?
I think Vince McMahon, I can't really say. I know I stopped watching wrestling probably right around 05, 06. It was shortly after Batista and Randy Orton got in.
Okay.
And like some of the bigger names were done. Austin was starting to be done. Yeah, some of those bigger guys were done. And so for me, it was like a transition. And then of course I was like, turning into focusing more on other things, and I watch it sparingly here and there. But I knew who the big names were. I'd keep track here, sparingly. But it felt like when I watched it, I would tune into it like this isn't the same wrestling. The Attitude Era is dead. It's not the same. Like Triple H was carrying it as a heel for years, but I feel like it's almost like what Chris Jericho was like with WCW. You know, remember Chris Jericho like had issues. The cruiserweights were not taken care of, and we got to WWF or WWE. They knew how to take care of those guys. They knew how to give those guys a chance. And I feel like Vince McMahon lost his touch. He got comfortable without the competition. But I feel like Triple H along the whole time was almost like Chris Jericho. Like he knew that there could be better, and they started relying on old people. Like they brought Sting back, and then the NWO and Generation X at that. I forgot what year that was at one of the WrestleManias. And that was cool and nostalgic, but at the same time, it was kind of like you can't just keep relying on the old guys. That's what WCW did, and that's what led to their failing. So like I feel like Triple H is trying to like really push the young names, which I think that's where Logan Paul kind of comes from a little bit. Trying to get the spark out there because some of it's starting to get stale. So I feel like Triple H is trying. I feel like he still has creative control because a lot of like the bloodline story really feels similar to like some of the other stories before, like with the betrayals, someone who was a part of the group that gets betrayed. So they leave their old partner, then they team back up with that partner. So it feels like some of the stories that used to be, and that's kind of feels like the way they're going. But I like the bloodline story. I think is good. I think the Logan Paul Seth Rollins story has potential. Cody Rhodes, I like Cody Rhodes. I love his story of redemption, but it feels like they're just forcing it now. It doesn't really feel like
exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a natural fit. Like I feel like Cody Rhodes is freaking awesome, but they're trying to like catapult him into this, and it's not really working to me.
And unfortunately, right now that Sami Zayn is such on a hot streak that it's almost overshadowing. Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
To the fact that we even talked about at one point going, holy crap, are they going to screw Cody over again? And, now it's going to be the Sami Zayn show. And, I mean, because when Sami comes out, it pops.
Yeah.
Whereas, like...
it's kind of, I was like, it's bad timing for Cody.
For Cody.
It is.
It's time it reminds me, believe it or not.
Zayn reminds me of, like, Mick Foley.
Yes.
Where he's, like, doesn't look like your traditional wrestler. Just it's kind of a goofball in a sense, a goofy personality, but he's just a tough dude in the ring, and it brings the energy. The fans love him because he just reminds you of this everyday guy wrestling against the Titans. So it's like I love Sami just for that. Like the first couple introductions of Sami, I was like, this kind of guy reminds me of Mick Foley. He's kind of like the goofball backstage. He's not really like a guy you would take serious, and then like he goes in the ring and he like, gives it his all. I love it. Oh my god. But yeah, no, I get why the fans love Sammy. Like he's fun, he's energetic, and I mean, like, it kind of sucks. The timing of it's rough, and you can tell they're trying to force this whole thing with Cody out, and it's just bad timing. And I'm hoping long term it smooths out and something happens. I'm hoping there's like a twist or turn that happens at WrestleMania or before WrestleMania that kind of like pulls it all together. But we'll see.
Yeah, no, I mean, I 100% agree. And Alfred, any thoughts?
No, it's on the Sammy.
Sammy, Cody, yeah.
Oh yeah. I like I said, I picked up on it like a few weeks ago when I mentioned on the show. Like I noticed when Cody Rhodes comes out now, it's like it's really no reaction. I noticed. I even go further back when I was at the Royal Rumble, and I noticed. Obviously, we knew he was going to be entered number 30, but I expected a bigger like ovation of him coming back. But it was just so bland. It was like, oh,
it's the fact that they announced he was coming back to the Rumble.
Yeah.
If they would have kept their mouths shut, it would have been a big ass pop.
Exactly, which I recommended. But yeah, but like I said, the past few weeks or so, it's like Cody, his reaction is not what I expected it to be. And the thing is, it's like I said earlier, it's bad timing because Sami Zayn is hot right now. He's like, he's so over right now. It overshadows really anything Cody could do at this point. So that's why I was kind of worried they might include Sammy in the match with Roman and Cody. And I said it plenty of times. I was like, I really wouldn't be a fan of that at the moment. No. I think Cody should have his moment to try to beat Roman. Then later on, we'll see how he does. If he beats Roman, how he does as champion. But like I said, I picked up on a lot of things, and Cody hasn't been getting the reaction I expected him to be getting.
No. Although it seemed
it's not his fault, really.
No, I feel like a Monday night like that might have been a chance for him to get a little bit better reaction by coming to Sammy's help. Because I felt like the reaction, like I feel like fans loved his conversation in the ring. What was it on Raw with Sammy before Sammy fought Roman Reigns?
Oh yeah, his hype. Oh my god, I chills.
Yeah, I thought that was like a really good interaction between the two, and I thought they can build that chemistry with those two. So what I'm kind of hoping, I thought about this, where Kevin Owens is kind of like he's like done with Sammy. I'm wondering if they'll like try to make Cody Rhodes and Sammy a tag team or something. I don't know. But there's a way to work it in without forcing it. And I think him coming to his aid might have been a good step in the right direction to start getting Cody a little bit more of the popularity that he probably deserves, honestly. Because it sucks because it's not Cody, it's how they're doing it. It's almost like they're just forcing it and trying to fast track him into it. And I get it. It works, but at the same time, it doesn't.
No, I agree. Bret, just wondering, what are your thoughts on Roman Reigns and the career that he's had already, and the fact that he's held the title for 2 years? Like, what are your thoughts on Roman?
I love it. So some people hate a buddy of mine I worked with, I was actually in the Air Force with, is a real big wrestling fan, and he's kind of bored with the whole story of Roman having the title for so long. But I kind of love it because we all hate the Patriots, right? Because they were so good for so long. Right. You're not in the division, you hate the Patriots. Everybody hates the Patriots because everybody hates the guys who win forever, and everybody wants the underdog to win. And I think that's really good for it because it's like, who's going to take Roman out next?
Yeah.
But I think the WWE kind of got a little bit obvious that, okay, this guy's not going to unseat Roman. We knew Sammy wasn't going to beat Roman. We knew Roman was going to still win. And I like how it's kind of like the old school way, like the Generation X and NWO, where they would get their buddies to cheap shot it in or distract them to get the pin or the cheap win, you know what I mean? But because that's what heels do, right? And that's kind of what the bad guys. But I really like it because Roman Reigns is a hell of an athlete, hell of a wrestler. He just seems like the guy that's actually like a good dude, like just puts his head down and works his ass off to be where he's at right now.
Yeah. So
it's really good to see. And he started out as just like a sidekick, really. I mean, he didn't really start out as the big dog. So it was it didn't start out like Lesnar, where it was like trying to force that out there. So he became the guy that he is now. So I think it's pretty awesome. And I think it's great how they involve like his legit family, his cousins and stuff, who actually have a long line of history in wrestling, all the way to what their grandparents, I think. So like Rikishi's part of that family too. So it's really cool to honestly just to see the bloodline, and then like then he was actually trained by Dusty Rhodes, the legend. So that was really cool. Like that's really cool that they keep tying it in with Cody, which I think that's why they're forcing that. I don't really like it how they're forcing it too much, but yeah, I mean, I actually like what they did with Roman Reigns, but at some point you're gonna start losing fans if he doesn't lose the belt soon and lose it in a creative way, like in a way that like gets the fans hype. And I honestly think Sammy winning that belt would honestly get them hype.
Yeah, probably. But obviously, I think the route right, the perfect. So I think what WWE likes to do, and I'm pretty, Alfred and I are on the same spot, is that the fact that the belts need to split. Having one champion on both shows, I think they tried that in the Attitude Era. It worked and it didn't work. I think now you can't do it like that because you notice that Roman appears more on SmackDown. He's a SmackDown superstar.
Yeah.
So he appears more on SmackDown now. More than likely, Cody's probably going to win, and then they're switching it now that Cody's on Raw. He'll be, the titles will be on Raw, their premiere show,
right?
For the next hour. I don't think he's going to have a year-long reign. I don't think so.
I don't think they want to go with another long haul of the champion again. It's bad for business because it's changed over so long before Roman's had it. So,
Alfred, what do you think about the first exchange between Roman and Cody on Friday Night SmackDown? Roman talking about, hey, your dad said that I'm the son he wished he's always had, and I mean, just throwing all this family shit out there. I mean, like.
Yeah,
I was like, what the hell?
I was like, I like the exchange. Roman, he had another savage moment. Every time, like when he's on the mic and everything, and it's funny. The funniest thing of that promo was when he had the belts on the ground. And he was asking, "Did you win this one?" And it's like the crowd, like, "Oh shoot!" It was like, "Have you even been in the main event at WrestleMania?" It's like he's just throwing all these accolades.
Yep.
Knowing that contract he signed with AEW, he couldn't compete for a belt too. So it's like, man, this is a stab in the heart.
I love that, like the bully stuff Roman does and everything. So I really do like the exchange between the two. I think Roman carried it more because like the stuff he was saying, it was like, oh shoot, like man, he's on his bully stuff right there, then and there and everything. If I was there in person, I would have been like, I would have been yelling and screaming like that. They were like, oh wow, and like Burn and Savage and things like that. But I like the exchange on Friday Night SmackDown.
Oh yeah, no, I love it. I absolutely do love it. And then
another thing is, if I might add what Bret was saying with Roman holding the title so long.
Yeah,
I like that they had Roman. They having Roman have the titles long because it's something fresh. Because like I said plenty of times, back in the day during the golden era of wrestling and everything, they had wrestlers have super long title reigns, like Bruno Sammartino, things like that. And it's like we didn't have that. We didn't have wrestlers have that long reigns during the gold, like not the golden era, but the Attitude Era and the New Generation era and the Ruthless Aggression era. And it's like they brought it back during the PG era, and it's like it's something new, and things like that. And like Bret was saying later, you can't have another wrestler have a long title run after Roman Reigns and everything. So
not right away.
And the fact not right away. And the fact is, the person that actually beats Roman for the title,
Cody Rhodes.
The reaction that when it happens is going to be so huge, and it's going to elevate that person to be even more like higher. Be like, hey, I'm the one that ended Roman Reigns like title reign and things like that. So I'm glad that they haven't had him winning the title, having this long title reign.
Here's what I hope that does not happen is I hope they don't put the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens versus the Usos match on the same night as the Roman Rhodes match, because you're going to be able to tell the difference between if Sami and Kevin win, between if Rhodes win, because in my personal opinion, I think the Sami Kevin pop is going to be here and the Cody pop is going to be right there. And it's going to suck because like we've been saying, Cody deserves the pop. He's been asking for it ever since he came back to WWE. I think, and I'm not saying anything negative about Sammy. I think Sammy's storyline right now is genius, absolute pure genius. But I think Cody deserves this pop before Sammy does. I could be wrong. Y'all could disagree with me.
I kind of agree with what you're saying, but I kind of want to play devil's advocate. I kind of want it to happen on the same night. I figure like if the Usos lose late at the early part of the show, then they got to go back to. They have a segment where they got to go back to Roman. Roman's like disgusted as hell with the Usos for losing the titles and things like that. And then later on in that show, Roman lose the titles, and it's like, oh, where the bloodline go from here? Like when the show is goes off the air and thing. I kind of want it to happen the same night, but I kind of get your logic as well. I just want to play devil's advocate and be like,
play devil's advocate.
Have it on the same night. I was gonna say we gotta play devil's advocate. We can't always agree on everything. So
no.
Everything, but I kind of want it to happen on the same show this year. Prefer it to happen on night. Obviously, night 2 would be the best thing to happen for it to happen on.
Yeah.
Instead of night 1, but I want it to happen on the same night.
Brett, were you going to say something about that?
No, I don't know if I see both sides of that because like if you see the tag team titles and the tag team titles are up for grabs on that night, right?
More than likely, yeah.
So
it will be if when they announce it.
So do we see the tag team Universal and WWE Championship all switching hands in one night?
That's my point.
Yeah, so that's going to be, or even in one WrestleMania, like, do you see like the Uso brothers losing the tag team titles and then Roman Reigns losing the titles? Like, I don't know if that's going to happen. So it would kind of suck to see the night before the tag team match win, or who wins that one, and then kind of tip the hand because it's basically the opposite might happen the next match, or so it's like that would kind of suck. But at the same time, like, it's so like I kind of figured that Jimmy and Jay would be back together wrestling to set up for Sammy and Kevin Owens, but I almost feel like I thought for just a minute there that Jimmy and Jay were going to start focusing on their solo work instead of being tag team partners, which I know a lot of guys like to do that after a while. So I mean, like it worked out. It's worked out for a lot of guys that split and went on their own. So I would like to see that those two kind of go off on their own, because like I don't really think there's really tag team like teams that are like really in sync like the Dudley brothers back in the day. So like I actually wanted to kind of see them split up and kind of do their own thing. I was kind of hoping for that because that'd be a little different and fresh. But
I think Jay's single career when Jimmy was hurt, when Jay was having his issues with Roman, was brilliant. Jay as a singles competitor, I mean, is outstanding. And I think a Jay versus Jimmy match, let's say it's Jay versus Jimmy and Rikishi involved in the match.
Oh man!
I mean, like him not being, let's say, being a special guest referee, but let's just say being on the sideline, like he's on ringside, and he has to see his two sons beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
I think that would be a brilliant type of storyline.
Or Jay and Sammy versus Jimmy and whoever else would be
Solo
with them.
Solo.
So I mean, however they want to do that would be really cool. I was hoping to break up the bloodline, not so much for anything personally, just because I think it'd be really good for both of them individually to grow as wrestlers and to grow as like entertainers, to kind of like into their own and break off as their own. But like I like the idea that it wouldn't keep working together, but at the same time, growing on their own would be really cool to see, because you don't see it that often. And then when you have like the brothers rivalry, Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner, though that was a little short rivalry for a little bit. That was fun to watch with those two, So like something like that would actually be, to me, would get people watching. So I don't know. I was hoping that's the way it would go, but still opportunity for that. You never know. But it's been an interesting ride, to say the least. I mean, there are questions where it's not too obvious of what they want to do, but they're still kind of to the point where it's like, I think we already figured out what they want to do.
Right.
Which has been the biggest criticism of the WWE for how long now? Like you already figured out what they're doing. It's like, okay, where's the surprise element?
It sets up the storylines, and that's why, like, we always say that AEW is the superior show to WWE, because AEW doesn't tell you what they're going to do. They don't show, they don't preview any storylines. They don't be like where you can kind of figure it out, but you really can't. Like WWE, you're like, oh, okay, this is how they're setting it. Like we were talking about, they're setting it up like this. AEW, they're kind of like, I wonder what's gonna happen. Like MJF and Bryan Danielson having their Iron Man match. Which Alfred, did you watch the pay-per-view or no?
I'm still. I didn't see the end of it.
Right.
I started on it and something got tied up, and I didn't see the end of the Iron
right.
Man
So
match.
like basically like
the sudden death.
MJF made Bryan Danielson tap out to his own move. So that's the big thing right now.
Such a heel, man. I love it.
Yeah.
MJF is outstanding. I love MJF. Especially people were giving him shit. They said he threw water at a kid or something like that. I don't know.
I saw that part. Yeah, he threw water. The ultimate heel move. He threw water at a kid, and it's funny because people was being like dead serious, like seriously mad about it. I thought
these guys would have survived the Attitude Era, man. They would not have survived like the late 90s, early 2000s.
We seen worse.
Yes,
we seen worse.
You had Kevin Nash and Scott Hall in this
video of him throwing water.
Exactly.
That was funny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the ladies real quick, WWE style. So this new Asuka, I'm a fan. Big fan. She changed her entrance music. This past Monday, she went out and got involved with the Bianca and Carmella situation. And then she spit her green or blue mist all over Chelsea Green, which I thought was hysterical. But I mean, Asuka and Bianca, I'm here all day for that. But Brett, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Well, so my first introduction to her was at the Elimination Chamber, and I actually liked it.
Okay.
She just had that like craziness, man. I loved it. And then like you had, of course, I don't know the girl's name. The one that ended up beating her, or the one she ended up beating, but like she
Carmella.
Yeah.
Okay.
She had that like she always tried to like pick her opportunity during that match, kind of like hate and all that stuff. But that Asuka, like she just had that craziness to her. I loved it. I loved watching what she did, and I remember seeing a highlight of her at did she beat one of the Bella twins at the Royal Rumble? Been a while back now, but it was like I remember seeing that before of her. And then I was like, oh, that's the same girl, and then she's a badass, dude. I really like her. I feel like she needs a little bit more like center stage. Like, I think they need to.
No, here's the thing, Alfred. Like Bianca and Asuka, does that mean that like they're both faces? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to mention next. I was going to say, hey, I kind of thought Asuka was going to kind of tease being a heel turn on Monday. Yeah. On Monday, when she was like pointing when she was in the ring with Bianca and everything, and she was kind of like in the ring where I thought she was kind of going to point like a tease a heel turn. A good, like I said, I think since they're both faces, I don't think they're going to lead to the match being both faces. I think Asuka might be teasing the heel turn. I think it's going to culminate like before WrestleMania. So
okay,
I was going to mention that too, because like
to where she finally becomes like, evil Asuka.
Yeah, becomes evil Asuka. It's like rare, like two faces going to be, because I think that's going to be the main event of night one. It's going to be one of the women's matches.
You think so?
And if I kind of,
I think it's gonna be Rhea and Charlotte.
Yeah,
night one.
Kinda, yeah. On second thought, that's kind of tough to decide which women's match is bigger. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Charlotte,
Asuka, and Asuka and Bianca. And then, by the way, you know they made that match official is Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, and Lita versus Damage Control. Who's that bearded wonder? Another Wyatt? He mentioned Wyatt.
Oh Lord! We need to do a new game on the show. Every time somebody says Wyatt, let's put the hat on.
I made the mistake of joking around, telling my wife I look like Braun Strowman, and now she's like, "Well, I kind of wish you did."
I get a lot of Big E references too. People say I like Big E.
Oh my god, that's funny. All right. You know what? Let's talk a little bit about WWE 2K23 because I don't know about y'all. I haven't bought WWE 2Ks in a while because they kind of sucked, to be honest.
Yeah. I was about to say the only one I bought really was the last one, 2K22, because I thought I was gonna give it a shot, but
I think the last one I bought was 2K20.
Yeah, and they had so many issues with that. A buddy of mine bought it at work. He's like, "Don't waste your money on it. It's so many glitches."
Yeah,
which is surprising because 2K is not EA. EA is bad. 2K is good.
But I'm talking about this WWE, like this. So the top like video games for wrestling, and Raw vs. SmackDown comes to mind.
Yeah,
I loved it, but I'm trying to think of the game where you could play the draft. Like you could actually do the draft.
That's SmackDown Shut Your Mouth.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
SmackDown Shut Your Mouth.
First one they had to draft.
I played that until I don't even know what time. I loved that game because I love drafts. Like the NFL draft is my favorite thing of all time.
Yeah.
NBA draft is okay, but I just love like WWE draft. I love. But the fact that I could do a draft and I could pick my rosters was so cool. And Brett, what was the game you had earlier? Show us that video game.
Oh yeah. So this is the one that got me into wrestling games back in the day. It's the old. I'm trying to get a nicely started there. The old
WrestleMania arcade game.
Look, Razor Ramon on the front. Undertaker's young Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. Doink the Clown was still in this one.
Oh my god.
Talk about a classic, man. Like it's stuff like some of your viewers might not even know who some of these guys are.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was like back in Mortal Kombat was like that realistic digital man, and that got me into the wrestling games. This is the most difficult wrestling game ever, though.
I think what got me into like the very first wrestling game I ever got into and played was on N64, was like WCW NWO World Tour. Like I remember that like it was yesterday when I first got the game. And it kind of got me into wrestling as well around that time. And ever since then I started getting wrestling games like crazy. But I don't see any way in the world no video game is gonna top WWF No Mercy on 64.
No.
Okay.
All-time greatest game ever. Wrestling game. It might be the all-time greatest game, period, but definitely wrestling game. Like No Mercy. The fact that it's had the roster was stacked at the time on the game, and you didn't even have to use a memory card to save your data and things like that. Even though it kind of arrested, but they had like it was like No Mercy. I don't think nothing that No Mercy was ahead of its time when it was on N64. I don't think no wrestling video game is topping that one.
What a time to be alive!
I know,
right. These youngsters these days don't know anything about that. The rest.
They're talking about their
PS2 that didn't have a memory card.
Their Halos and their Fortnites and all that shit.
Yeah, it's funny because all the WCW, like besides WCW, NWO Revenge, like all the WCW games wasn't that great to me. It's just when No Mercy came out, it just elevated everything. That's the crazy part right there.
So one of my favorite games growing up, and I was trying to find it in the attic, I couldn't find it. But one of my absolute favorite games of all time for wrestling is Warzone. WWE Warzone. Yes. I absolutely love that. We spent literally all night, whenever a friend's house for his birthday party, we spent all night till the sun come up creating wrestlers, entrances, and just having a blast, man. We'd make these like 300-pound wrestlers against these little skinny guys.
Right.
But we'd like take all their like fast attributes up, so they'd just make these like fast guys that were like really athletic.
It was like Warzone and Attitude. I think the thing, because I was so young at the time, it was like my attention span when I play games is like the button mashing, because with Warzone and Attitude, you literally got to push like 30 buttons just to do one finishing move. Oh man, it was like, oh my god, I'm so young.
Wait till your special bar was up. You had to hit like 5 buttons at once just to get the special.
Exactly. So I never got into like the Warzone and everything. But and I'll tell you another game I used to like, and it's kind of underrated to me. When the Xbox first came out, and WWF Raw was on the game.
Okay.
Really Raw too, but the first Raw and the second Raw when they came out on the Xbox, the first Xbox, that game was underrated too. Like I think that was the first one where I was a sucker back then for the Minitron, like when you know the Titantron, but they had the Minitron on the set. I think that was the very first game they had the Minitron in the game, and I was like, oh, it finally took this long for them to have the Minitron.
Wait, so Brett, have you played 2K23?
I haven't played 23. I have 22 right now, and I just pretty much finished everything on my Rise. But I had to go all the way back to NXT to finish everything because I didn't know what I was doing. I started with NXT. I did SmackDown and Raw. I'm like, God, I gotta go all the way back to NXT now.
I think some of the reasons, and maybe it's just because I suck at the game, but like I would be playing on easy and I'd be losing.
It's like if you know once you get used to the controls, I sucked at first. And I had to start over on my Rise. And then once I realized how to create a character more, I realized like the buttons I was doing, I would do the practices, man, and look at the controls. It actually helps a lot.
Okay.
I think my Rise kind of like because I have 2K22, but I stopped playing after like a minute because it kind of got like my Rise kind of got repetitive.
Yeah, it does.
It was one of them where it's the Money in the Bank match, and it literally took me 2 hours to beat that match. Like,
damn,
playing the game for 2 hours.
Well, you got to like line up. It scrolls around. You got to hit the button right at the right time for it to go in. You got to do it like 6 times.
You got to beat up like 500 people to have them on the ground.
Yeah.
It was a whole.
I'm not gonna lie. The ladder match and the Money in the Bank match, I had a good time because we kept knocking each other off the ladder. Like this is actually fun. But the 4-way match, it sucks because tag team matches suck. Because someone always breaks up the you gotta knock everybody out.
Yeah, and then they be dazed on the floor for like 10 seconds and everything. But for 2K23, I'm kind of on the fence of it. I seen it's actually a video on YouTube now that they kind of preview my Rise. Not preview, but they did like a match or so, like a little storyline. It's kind of funny though, because it's the lock. I'm not sure if y'all seen the video yet, but it came out I guess today or yesterday. But they did like a little preview of my Rise, and they like did like one of the storylines. It was kind of interesting, but like I said, I'm kind of on the fence on buying this one. If it's anything like 2K22, I might buy it, but I heard they upgraded my GM mode because that's the main reason why I wanted 2K22 is my GM mode, and they kind of upgraded that. And they have war games in this match and things like that. But
do they in 2K23 they have war games?
So
yeah, they having war games in this one.
What I was told is my GM. 22. Oh, my bad, Al or Alfred.
No, you've what did they have? You said they had war games in 2K22?
No, but what I was told is they kind of watered down 22 of what they wanted to do because they wanted to fix all the issues from 20. So they didn't have one in 21, and 22 was kind of like reintroduce it back into the market, but get people to like it without having to like hate it without any issues, and then add the other stuff they wanted to add in 23. So I'm hoping that from what I've heard, 23 has a little bit more to it. So that's makes me happy.
That's what I was saying. Like I said, I'm on the fence on, but I might eventually buy it. But like I said, my GM mode is my main thing on the game anyway. So I'm interested.
But don't you have to like for my GM mode? Don't you have to like build the stadiums and stuff like that? I just want to fight.
Well, 2K22, all you have to do like you just draft the rosters and you only did like 3 matches. Yeah, but you have to have a budget. So depending on which GM you choose, they have like different like abilities. I forgot what Stephanie McMahon's was, but you have a budget and you have to like kind of have like shows. You have to start off having shows in like low budget arenas, like places and things like that.
Yeah.
But this one I heard this one is a little bit better because they have more GMs you can choose, and you can do more matches, and you can play with up to 4 people. So this one is a little bit probably better, and I think they have the Slammy Awards at the end of the like cool. I think it's like 2 seasons. So they have like the Slammy Awards and the WWE Hall of Fame like thing during that my GM mode. So that's gonna be interesting. I read that like the other day, so that's gonna be pretty damn fun.
The communities you can the share communities that people create like different stadiums and stuff like that you can use, and you can download different wrestlers and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. A buddy of mine does a lot of the my GM stuff, and he's like took like somebody made like the old like Kevin Nash and Hollywood and all the different stuff, NWO Stadium and arena and stuff. So it's pretty cool stuff that you could do.
I mean, like I'm still like number one. It's like what is it like 6 $59.99 or it's expensive right now because the game's like getting ready to come out.
I bought it for $30.
Long gone days when the games used to be like $40.
Yeah.
I think I seen the commercial for WCW NWO Revenge, and I think I seen the screenshot back today. It was like $19.99 or something like that.
Shit, if you gonna buy that game now, it's like $60.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I got a Switch, so I might actually get some of those old games for the 64. I actually might put them on my Switch so I can play them if they're on there. Just for nostalgic, man. It's like I know they were blocky and the graphics were good to us back then, okay?
Right.
But like it's still nostalgic and fun to play, though. Yeah, I love it. I've always loved wrestling games. Even
on second thought, I actually just pulled up the screenshot of like the commercial. I just Googled it. I can't even believe it's a screenshot showing where you could like buy WCW NWO Revenge like back in the day when it first came out. The game was actually $69.95 on 64. Like that's
really
freaking insane. Like,
well, we forgot because I think back then our parents used to buy it for us and stuff.
Right.
Right, exactly. Right.
That was a Santa Claus present. That's what that was.
It was Santa Claus present, and I was the only child too, so I was able to get most of the games I wanted.
Lucky.
Nah. Well, I was the only male, so I bought my games by myself. So, I did it. I think this is a good point to call it a night. We talked a lot of good stuff. Alfred, you know what I'm about to do. Plug it. Plug yourself.
Oh, well, you can find me on Twitter, _Matthew713 if you want to see my troll jokes and things like that. I troll daily.
Every day.
Probably the most entertaining Twitter account you'll probably follow. So
Amen.
_Matthew713.
And Bret, thank you so much for joining us. Like, what shows can people find you on? Like, where can people follow you at?
You can find me at my username's on there at Huddle Up and Wait with Dave Stager. You can find me on like multiple shows on the network. Right now we're doing the Fins Talk Sports with the draft, the Fins Talk OT. And dude, thanks for having me on. This was a blast. I absolutely love it. Anytime you want me to come on for wrestling,
I'm waiting for my invite to come join the draft show.
Hey,
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, I was like, you got to send me an invite too.
Hey, we're all about. We need more people for it. I'm all about it. Miami doesn't have picks, so I'm gonna be trolling the first round all night long.
anytime. If you need a co-host for the draft, I can.
Oh, dude, I'm all about it. But you know what? Since Dave and I do an NFL show, we'll have to have you guys come on. We'll have to talk about like AFC South and talk about Texas.
There you go. Absolutely,
we'll get you guys on it. This is a blast. Thanks for having me on, man. I definitely want to talk wrestling anytime you guys want.
Absolutely. Anytime you want to come on. Like now we got Clutch who does the show with Alex. He messaged me the other day. He's like, "Hey, can I come on again?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. Like come on whenever." Anyway, you guys can find me at AlexBB29, but more importantly, you can find this podcast page at N, H, B to that Bard podcast. So NH Bard podcast. More importantly, subscribe to Fin Talk Sports Network. You can watch our show every Wednesday, even though Alfred, hint, I won't be here next week. I don't know, Brett, if you're not doing anything, we'll come out going next week.
I'm free.
We can subscribe to Fin Talk Sports Network, find Brett's show, find our show, find all these amazing shows. And for that, it's rodeo season in Texas. Yeehaw, baby. We love you guys. We will see you guys next week. I see you in 2 weeks. So, Alfred, you're taking over. Hollywood, take over again next week, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Peace.